Hi, everyone, and welcome to Write, Learn, and Earn. So, the question is, do you sell what you write, or do you write what sells? Interesting question. When I started writing, I just wanted to write. And many people have got a bucket list where they say, oh, I'd love to write a book. But as you go along, you realize that there is a way of making money from what you're writing. And often veteran writers will do keyword research before they even start writing a book. Why do they do this? They do it because they want to write a book that's going to sell. Now, I'm not suggesting that you give up your passion, but I am suggesting that there is a way to tweak how you present your book so that you can optimize your sales. Now, when I first released my book, I got thrown into the great big Amazon pit of books, and I ranked about 1.8 million in my genre. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to sift through 1.8 million books to find some new author. No, I want to type in what I'm looking for in Amazon and look at the top 10 books and say, yes, that's the book that I like. I just simply don't have the time to sift through everyone's book to go and find that elusive new author, because time is money. So, how do you get to be known as a new author when there are so many books out there? You get to be known by placing your book in categories where you can increase your chances of visibility. When I started on this journey, and I started placing my books into categories where they would get noticed far easier, I improved my ranking to about 500 out of that 1.8 million. And I did it by proper keyword research and placing. And I did that without any advertising at all. So when you start topping on top of your proper keywords and your proper categories, and you layer that with promotions, cross promotions, advertising, newsletters, a whole bunch of those other techniques that are available to you, you are going to start seeing phenomenal results. So I'm going to be chatting to you about the tool that I have used. And let's head on over to Rocket Publisher. I have to say, before I start this demonstration, that I was worried about what it would cost me. And once I took the plunge, I made back the cost of Rocket Publisher within 1.5 selling months. And that was without any advertising. And I hope that you are going to take this seriously, because right now we need more authors that can actually earn a living from their work so that they can help their families and help the people around them financially. So let's head on over. Okay, in here, this is Rocket Publisher. You pay a once-off cost, so you don't have to pay again. There is talk that it might become a monthly subscription, so I would suggest that you just get involved as quickly as possible. Okay, so here's our keyword research or our keyword search button. I'm going to click that. And I'm going to look for now, I'm just going to look at ebooks and not at books. This is for the US market. I have to let you know that each market is different. At the moment, at the time of this recording, Rocket Publisher supports the US, the UK, I think Germany as well. So let's head on over to the US. So I'm going to do a non-fiction category for now, and I'm going to put in curry recipes. I know a couple of people that cook really, really nicely. So maybe there's an opportunity for them. So then I click go get them Rocket. And it's going to come up with a couple of different things for us. So we're just going to wait for it to populate. It's going to give us our keyword, the number of competitors that are using this word. So this is not categories. These are keywords that customers, readers are typing into Amazon looking for books. It's going to give us our average monthly earnings. It's going to tell us if Google searches are popping up for this keyword, the estimated Amazon searches per month, and the competitive score. Now, while I'm waiting for the software to bring up my results, I'm going to explain the competitive score to you. A competitive score means how easy is it for you to compete in this market. And there's different ways of doing that. People will use a word like called metadata, which sounds very scary, but basically it's different things that you can add when you're listing your book on Amazon that will tell the search engine what your book is about. And those things would include your title, your subtitle, your blurb. What goes in there is your reviews as well. It is how Amazon tells whether your book is relevant to what's being searched on. Okay, so the amount of time that it takes for these stats to come up is dependent on how much data the software has got to sift through. And it also depends on factors like the speed of your computer and the speed of your internet. Over here, it's raining quite a bit, and so my signal is a little bit slower. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the ones we've got so far and analyze those. All right, so you'll see over here, curry recipes. That was the main keyword that I put in. There's 1,819 competitors pitching for these keywords. So that means that when you load your book onto Amazon, they'll ask you for 7 keywords. Sometimes authors get a bit overwhelmed. They don't include that. Do not get overwhelmed. Take the time to find out what those keywords should be. This is what I did. I did this research when I launched my second book. My first book, when I first launched it, I didn't really know what I was doing. I thumbsucked. I said, oh, I think this is what people would be looking for when they're looking for my book. But I didn't actually do the research. Once I did the research using this tool, I changed my keywords and it phenomenally made a big, big difference. Okay, so then we'll have Google searches. No one's looking for this on Google. Then we have estimated monthly searches, 100, just over 100, competitive score 40. So if we have a look at the first one over here, the number of competitors, it's 1,819. Then we head over to the Amazon searches per month. There's not a lot of searches. Ideally, you want to have something where you can get a lot of searches, but that's not happening over here. Okay, and you'll see the earnings is very, very low. So, do you really want to compete in something where there's no one looking for your book? The competitive score is very low. Now we can go, while we're waiting for all of this rest of the stuff to happen, we can go to the competition. The second one over here, curry recipes around the world. You'll see there is only 38 competitors competing for the keyword. Again, these are not the categories, these are the keywords. Only 38 in comparison to curry recipes, which is 1,819. The monthly earnings on this is $717. And these are for the top performers in this category versus 19. Exactly the same amount of searches per month, but in our competitive score, this category, curry recipes around the world, is scoring 1. That means that it is super easy for you to compete in this category. Okay, so you'll see there's a couple of the other ones that are popping up. Now let's compare this one that we like over here, the curry recipes around the world. Let's compare how that works with this. So we've got curry recipes book, recipes for curry, recipes for curries. All of these categories, except for this one, have got the same number of competitors. When we look at our earnings, they're all round about, under $20 a month. But this one, the curry recipes around the world, is performing at $717 per month. So, and it's got a good score. So I think that if you do have curry recipes in, like, that's really what you want to write, then this would actually be a very nice category for you to be competing in. Why? Because, like I said, there are so many competitors that you want, when someone types in curry recipes, you want to be the person that comes up top. Now, if you don't write curry recipes, then that doesn't matter. This software works across all the genres, whether you're writing science fiction or you're writing textbooks or you're writing self-help books. The software does exactly the same thing. It's going to help you. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks like for fiction, in case you ever had a passion for working with fiction. Okay. Now we can go to the competition analyzer, and let's go to this one here, the curry recipes around the world, because that's what we like. I'm just going to stop the share screen for now, then I can give you a summary. Okay, so remember, you want to have a book that is going to be visible. So you want to be able to get as quickly as possible into the top 10, and you're going to do that by correctly placing your book in the correct category. Number two, you want to be able to have metadata that is inside your book, inside your description, inside the name, the title of your book, inside your keywords, that is going to make Amazon believe that you are relevant. That is quite easy to do if you have the correct software that's going to direct you. You can do this by yourself. I have done this by myself beforehand. I watched a video on how to find keywords, but I have to tell you that it took me 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and I'm not a lazy person. I worked every single day. I worked for a few hours putting together keywords for advertising for my book, and I failed miserably. The first lot of advertising that I did, I ran at a loss because I was using words that I thought would work. I used the system that everyone told me to do. I wrote notes about it, but it was only when I found the proper categories to write using this software that I made changes. And what does 4 weeks mean to an author? Well, those of you who write with NaNoWriMo, 4 weeks you could write a 50,000 word manuscript in 4 weeks. So those 4 weeks, I'm not sorry that I did it, because it allowed me to see the value of this particular software, but I could have written another draft of a novel in 4 weeks. And so really, when they say time is money, absolutely it is. You don't want to be wasting time. You want to be able to maximize your time and get the correct keywords. Okay, so here we are looking at the curry recipes around the world, and this is going to tell us about a whole bunch of different books that are going to come up over here, and we can get to look at those individual books if we need to. So let's have a look and see who looks like they are doing well. You're going to get the title of the book. At the top over here, you see the title, and then you also see the description of the book that's in the subtitle. Now, remember, we use the word metadata. So for all of the people who are like me, where that kind of jargon just like makes you crazy, that's just really words that Amazon is finding in the description of your book that makes it judge whether your book is relevant or not. So Taste of India, there's no word in curry in over there, but it says here, Indian cooking made easy with authentic Indian food recipes, best recipes from around the world. Then there's chicken curry cookbook. So curry is sitting right in over here inside the title. It's sitting inside the description. Indian Instant Pot Cookbook. Traditional Indian dishes made easy and fast, hot and spicy curry cookbook. Let's have a look a little bit in terms of the earnings. So this book over here has monthly sales of around $2,100. I want to see the categories that this book is working in. So when we click on it, it shows us that we've got the following categories that are coming up here: books, cookbooks, food, wine, Asian cooking, Chinese. Not quite sure how that works, but books, cookbooks, food and wine, kitchen appliances. And remember, this book is dedicated to Instant Pot. It's a slow cooker, and for those of you who manage a very busy household, these kinds of appliances really, really save you time. So if someone has purchased one of these Instant Pots, they are going to be looking for good recipes. And it looks like this is a very interesting category because it's actually a whole kitchen appliance category over here. Then we've got kitchen store, Kindle books, cookbooks, food and wine, regional and international, Asian and Indian, and Kindle books, cookbooks, food and wine, special appliances. Now, you can actually list your book, not let many people know, you can list your book in up to 10 categories. When you load your book onto Amazon, it's going to ask you for 2. And then the average person is like, okay, that's all I get. But actually, you can do 10. You just have to ask Amazon manually. They do have a contact us section. You list the name of your book, your ISBN, which country you are interested in, and then the categories. And the reason I say which country is for some reason the different countries have got different categories. I have no idea why, but it is what it is. So you would have to say, okay, in America, I want to have my book listed in these categories. In the UK, I want to have my book listed in these categories. And you have to use all these words. You can't say, I want to go into kitchen appliances. They're going to ask you to say books, cookbooks, food and wine, kitchen appliances. Okay, now on this side, we see the sales to get to number 1 and the sales to get to number 10. So you have to make sales every day. In order to compete at the first one, Chinese, I have no idea why Chinese is in the Indian recipe side, but clearly there's some people that put it there. The Chinese do have a kind of a curry, but it's not what we obviously think of. So you need 66 books a day to get to number 1, and you need 11 book sales a day to get to number 10. Let's look at this one over here, the Kindle store, Kindle books, cookbooks, food and wine, regional and international, Asian and Indian. Then you would only need 14 sales a day to get to number 1, and you would only need 3 sales a day to get to number 10. And when we look at the special appliances, and remember this Instant Pot book was actually performing incredibly well, then you would only need 1 sale a day to get to the number 1 seller. And you need 15 sales a day to get to number 10. So that makes it look a little bit more interesting, because if you look at the earnings of this book, it's $2,100. Okay, so we're going to unleash our categories as well. You'll see there's so many things that you can do with this particular software, and it is just literally a few clicks. Okay, so now we're going to look at all of the different categories. So you can see there is Thai cooking. So obviously, I love Thai curry. Celebrities and TV shows. Then there's cooking by ingredients, fish and seafood. So we're going to look through these categories, and we're going to find something that is that you need very low sales, because when you're starting out, if you look at this, books, cookbooks, food and wine, cooking methods, how many brand new authors, unless they've got a massive following before and they've got a lot of money to spend on ad campaigns, how many people are going to get 656 sales in that first launch month? That's actually quite difficult to do. So let's try and find a category where we don't have so many sales that we've got to do. Okay, so if we look over here, the Kindle store, Kindle books, cookbooks, food and wine, meals, and casseroles, that's 18. So if you sell, if you're writing about Indian curry recipes and you've got casseroles inside there, you can actually go into this category. Okay, so let's see which one is number 6. Okay, here you go. This one is Kindle stores, Kindle ebooks, cookbooks, food and wine, regional and international, Asian and Thai, and you would only need 6 sales a day to get to number 1 and only 1 sale a day to get to number 10. And these are very important because this is visibility. You don't want to be like I was when I started my book and rank number 1,800,000, whatever, because no one's ever going to see you. But if you place your book in the correct categories, then you're going to increase your visibility and increase your sales, and that's going to put less pressure on your advertising budget. Okay. And then there's also travel, Asia, Thailand. You might think to yourself, Flip, but what the heck is that got to do with anything? So let me tell you a little interesting story. I don't know if you've ever heard of a bucket list. I did mention it beforehand. People have a dream that they've always wanted to achieve. And one of the things that is on my bucket list is I want to go to Thailand. And I want to go on one of those cooking holidays. So usually when you travel abroad, you get to go to all of the tourist destination, but the Thai cooking holidays means that they split your day in half. The first half of the day, you spend time with their chef who teaches you how to cook the local cuisine. And the second part of the day is when you travel and you go and see all of the destinations. So if I had a passion for cooking, I don't have a passion for cooking. My husband's got a passion for cooking, but if I had a passion for cooking and for travel, I could combine my curry recipes into a travel book and I could rank in this category. Okay, so for those of you who want to justify your travel spend and your passion for cooking, that could be a category for you. Okay, so let's stop the share screen. I hope that this has illustrated to you that when you are writing about the things that you really love, there is a way for you to be able to make more money with that book. Because right now we need a lot of people that can work locally and earn globally. I'm going to give you a sneak peek at a category that is for non-fiction for fiction writers, just that you can kind of see the scope of the market, but I will follow it on with another recording later that you can get to delve into that particular category. Okay, so I've now run a search for children's books. And there's a lot of information about that. So to save time, I pre-populated the search because the more stuff there is that you've got, that the software's got to go through, the longer it's going to take. So let's head on over and check my. So here we are. The keyword that I typed in was children's book. And you're going to see there is a lot of them. Remember, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our number of competitors, the average monthly earnings, the Google searches per month, the Amazon searches per month, and the competitive score. As a new author, you want to have your competitive score below 40. If you've got a newsletter and you've got a very big following, you can increase your competitive score if you would like. But for new people who are not yet established, you want to have it below 40. So we're going to look through the different categories and try and find something that's going to be interesting. You'll see these competitor scores are very, very high. Now we go to children's books aged 9 to 12. Lots of competitors, 58,152, monthly earnings, $1,000, estimated Amazon searches, 1,286. So there are a good number of searches, but then lots of competitors. Competitive score 28, that's actually really not bad. Let's go down a little bit more. The children's books aged 3, 5. So someone, there's no hyphen there. This software takes into account spelling mistakes. So if someone has typed it in and they didn't put the hyphen in, then it's going to come up as that is what people are searching for. So that's not a glitch by the software. It's because people are really typing that in. However, it's got 0 sales. So we're really not interested in that. Children's books, Kindle Unlimited. So these are, remember, this is people that are competing for those keywords. So if you've got your 7, you've got 7 keywords that you can input when you upload your book. You could put children's books, Kindle Unlimited in there if you are on Kindle Unlimited. And those of you who don't know what that is, it's a subscription that you pay to Kindle every month, and that means that you can download a lot of books to read, almost like kind of Netflix. So those people who have typed that keyword in, this is what the average earnings are for the top performers in that industry. But you will see, or in that category, but you'll see there is an 85 competitive score, which means it's very difficult to compete there. Okay, so then we've got free children's books. That's good if you've got a perma-free book, which is a book that is permanently free on Amazon to be able to get more traction. That's a completely different story, and you can't list a book for free on Amazon. What you can do is you can do a price match, which means that you list the book for free on other platforms, then you list it with Amazon, you show proof that it's for free, and they will price match it. So I am interested, I've got a friend who writes books that are geared towards diversity for children who've got disabilities. So there actually is keywords over here. When we look, there are 888 searches every month for the children's diversity. Number of competitors, 5,458, which is not too bad, because if you look at the top, just above it, there's children's books collections, which is 54,185. And you'll see the earnings over there are not that great, whereas in this diversity category, the top earners are 5,880. However, it's got a high competitive score of 77. So we'll have to look at that a little bit harder. Then we've got children's books on grief, which I think is quite topical at the moment, because there are a lot of people that have been affected, their families have been affected by the pandemic. So that might be something that children need a little bit of help with in terms of processing. Children's book on hope, also really, really nice over here. The top earners are getting 108,000 US dollars. The competitive score is quite low. High competition in comparison to the Amazon searches. But I'm going to just take a peek at this diversity section, and we're going to click on competition because we want to analyze the competition. And we're going to see there's a couple of different books over here. Let's have a look at there. We remember we spoke about metadata, so that is how the different things that you can put in about your book that shows Amazon that it's relevant. One of those are the title. This one is Inspire Kindness, Rhyming Read Aloud Storybook for Kids about kindness and empathy. So this will tell you what categories they're in, how old the book is, the number of pages, and the price of the book, and how the daily sales and the monthly sales. What interests me over here is that the I Am Enough book. It's got good earnings. And let's have a look at the categories. So when you purchased Rocket Publisher, and there is a link in the bottom for you to link on and purchase the book. Purchase the software. So let's have a look at the I Am Enough. We'll see the categories. This I Am Enough doesn't have anything inside the metadata over here, but we're gonna click on this. Okay, so this book is listed in books, children's books. The final categories, emotions and feelings. And remember, if you are asking Amazon to up your categories to 10, because you are allowed 10 categories, the 2 that you can automatically list when you list your book, and then an additional 8, but you have to manually ask them for it. You have to write out this entire line. So you have to go books, children's books, growing up, facts of life, friendship, social skills, and school life, emotions and feelings. Right, if you were competing in those category, you would need 623 book sales per day to get to Amazon #1. However, if you are looking a little bit lower, friendship, social skills, school life, and bullies, you would need 111 per day. This one is nice. This one I like. Kindle Store, Kindle eBooks, children's eBooks, growing up, facts and life, friendship, social skills, and school life, and then bullies. You only need 22 sales per day in order to get to the Amazon #1 bestseller. So remember we discussed beforehand stacking your strategies. If you listed in this category and you stacked on top of that newsletter swaps, which you can do through Story Origin, I have got a video on Story Origin. If you stacked it with that, if you stacked it with promotions, if you are on Kindle Unlimited and you stack it with Cross Pros for Kindle Unlimited, and maybe if you were doing a sale, then you could achieve this. You could achieve 22 sales a day, which is far better than something like this one, emotions and feelings, which you would need 708. So that is how I got my book into a better ranking, because I used this software to find the kinds of categories where my book would increase my visibility without changing anything else about my book. I just did better keywords and better category searches. I listed 7 keywords that I knew people were looking for that had low competition, and I listed the categories. Okay. So you can unleash the categories. So you could click on unleashing the categories. That means it's going to take all of these books and show you all of the categories. So let's see what we can find that's quite low. So these are lots and lots of different categories. Sure, I mean, this one you would need 1,350 sales a day just to make it to #1. We want, okay. Here is difficult discussions, dysfunctional relationships. So that's number 14. That book would really interest me because I've got young kids. One of them is a little girl, and I would want my kids to identify what is a dysfunctional relationship and how to deal with that. Another one, bullies, 22 units a day that you need to sell. Let's see, here you go. Cultural studies, sociology, 10 a day. Okay, so that tells you what categories are available for this. You can export these categories, so you can export them into an Excel spreadsheet, and that's really going to help you a lot with working out how you're going to manage this information that you've just gotten. Let's have a look and see what children love around the world, how Buffy earned her feathers. I really want my friend to earn a lot of money from her books. So then there's I Promise. Okay, so I think this particular one, I Am Enough, that's got a lot of sales. Shall we look at that particular book? And then I'm going to show you. Let's just stop our share screen in the meantime. So let's just recap. What is it that you need to do? You find keywords, things that people are looking for. You analyze the data to see, can you compete in that industry or in that category? Then you find out what the categories are. You choose the categories where there's low competition, where you are going to sell, you need to sell very few books to be visible, because visibility is going to make people see your book when they're looking for it. It's useless if you are going to be right at the bottom and you're just praying that things are going to turn around for you. You use intelligent, time-saving strategies. So let's head on back to our share screen. So this is a bestseller. Okay, so places where you're going to have your metadata, the information about your book, which is what you're going to load when you are when you actually putting your book together right up front with Amazon. You're going to have your title. You're going to be able to put in a catchphrase over here. This person doesn't seem to have a lot of that kind of information. You need to put it in. So if you were writing this book, you would have to say a book about self-esteem or whatever, and you use the keywords that people are searching for. So another place you're going to get the information is here in your description. In your description, try and put some of the keywords. So if your book is about bullying, then you use the bullying words over here. Okay, it's going to tell you the people who bought this book also bought these other books. So you can go in and you can analyze their books and how they're doing. So it's going to also give you, when we scroll down, we're going to see the reviews. So there's an editorial review. An editorial review is another place you can use, you can get these words coming out. It's going to tell you what the ranking of the book is. Okay, now what we are interested in as well is we want to look at the ratings. So this book has got a lot of reviews. Okay, so people have written things about the book. You see over here, it gives the ages of the book. So this person says that the ages of the kids. So if you are ranking, if you're trying to compete in a book that is available for certain age groups, then Amazon's going to take these words, the ages, and it's going to match that you are in a category for that age group, and that's going to be adding to your metadata. Okay. This person says about how easy the book was to read. If somehow, if you've got a launch team and they're writing reviews about the book, you can ask them to use certain kinds of words. It doesn't mean that if they think that the book is dreadful, that they must give it a good review. But you must say to them, listen, I'm trying to rank in this particular category. So if you know, if it's someone that has been reviewing for you for a long time, that's on your review team, you can say, my book is about bullies. When you give my review, please use the word bullies in your review. It is possible to do that, and if you've got a relatively good relationship with your review team, you can ask them to do those things. The review still needs to be honest, but it will help you with your metadata. Okay, so this person mentions illustrations. My student said, wow, love this book. Positive self-image. Okay, those are related to the keywords that are related to this particular book. So if someone was looking for a book that has got a positive self-image, then these words would help Amazon to say that is a good book for you. Now, obviously, the more reviews you have, the better. So I hope that this video has helped you to see that there is There are lots of categories, and if you use Rocket Publisher, which, like I said, there is a link in the description at the bottom that you can purchase it. You pay once off at this stage. There is talk that it's going to go onto the monthly option. I do not know if that is true or not, but I have heard of that. So if you do purchase it, it's once off, and yet again, I made back my money in terms of sales in 1.5 months without any advertising whatsoever. So I hope that you've had a fantastic day and that was a useful video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to get any more tips on self-publishing, how to sell more books. And we've got a wonderful little section in our playlist that is specifically dedicated to getting better characters in your books. So thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.